Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KitBadger.com, here to bring you another gear review, and today we're talking about flashlights. This little guy right here, which is the Streamlight ProTac 1L 1AA. I'm constantly looking for ways to improve, whether it's a technique for something or maybe a better tool that's going to serve me in a better capacity. To that end, everyday carry light. For a while, I carried the Streamlight ProTac 1AAA. Honestly, it did a great job in 99% of the situations you need that everyday carry light for. Enough lumens to do all those little tasks, whether it's looking under the seat in the car for one of my kids' gloves, or maybe in the back of the garage where the light's not quite shining and you need to look for something. It's there, really handy, really small compact package, really nice, and it worked. But where I found it lacking is that 1%, albeit crucial 1% of everyday carry light, i.e. I need a light that is going to throw beam far enough and be bright enough in the event of concealed carry, where I actually have to identify a threat and address that threat. To that end, I find the Streamlight ProTac 1L 1AA to be much better in that capacity. Throws a much better beam, much brighter. And to the name 1L 1AA, it's a dual fuel flashlight. What that means is I can either put my rechargeable AA's, which is really handy, especially when my kids decide they want to borrow this light and go, I don't know, play around in the closet or something. Or if I want, I can also throw a CR123 battery in there. What that's going to do for me is give me two max bright settings. One with the AA being about 150 lumens, going to throw a beam a little over 100 meters, or with the CR123 having that extra power in there, it's going to give me 350 lumens and throw a beam about 350 yards. Both of those are great. Honestly, I usually run the AA just because I find that 150 lumens to do fine for me, and on top of that, it's a lot easier for me to go ahead and just charge up these batteries, continue to swap them out, rather than burn through fairly expensive CR123s. Like at a lot of the Streamlights, this has their tin tap technology. Basically, you have this tail cap and you can tap it 10 times and cycle through different modes. By way of example, this has a strobe setting. I don't really have any use for a strobe setting aside from like an impromptu rave, but don't really use that. Consequently, I don't have that setting turned on. You can also have it to where there's the high-low, low being 40 lumens. Personally, I think 40 lumens is a little bit high. Don't really need that much light for most of those kind of 99% of your everyday tasks, but it's there. And burn time for that, usually get between 7 and 14 hours, depending on what kind of battery. Speaking of burn time, when you have it on the max setting, you're going to get anywhere from usually an hour and a half with the CR123, and depending on the type of AA battery, anywhere from like an hour and a half to 4 hours with like a lithium. Ultimately though, a lot of features built into this package, and with that tin tap technology, I basically have it on the setting where when I depress this, it's on full. That's it. There's no in between. There's no swapping through settings, because as an everyday carry light, I don't find it convenient to have to try and cycle through settings if I need a lot of light. Granted, it's that 1% time, going back to concealed carry, but I don't want to mess with it. So consequently, I just keep it on the highest setting all the time. As I mentioned, the switch on this is this tail cap. If you depress it lightly, halfway or so, it's going to turn on. Press it all the way, it'll click, at which point it'll stay on. Otherwise, you can press it and get momentary on and off. The way I carry this is pretty much regardless of the pants I'm wearing. I'll have this clipped in over on my left side, my offhand side, and it's small enough, unobtrusive, doesn't get in the way, but it's always there when I need it. Speaking to that 1% of the time when you need that everyday carry light, think concealed carry, depending on the weather, you might not be able to conceal a weapon-mounted light, at which point this is going to be invaluable, both in identifying the threat and assisting you in dealing with that potential threat. To that end, you are relatively limited. With the Surefire lights and a number of other lights, they have basically a ring around here which in effect allows you to hold your weapon here and pretty easily depress it while maintaining a pretty natural grip. This doesn't have that, and albeit you can kind of make it work, what I find usually does a better job is just indexing it here, being able to point out threats, or basically kind of a modified here where I'm able to create some tension, use my weapon light, move it with my pistol as I need to. Ultimately though, it does a pretty good job at night, throwing a beam far enough, illuminating enough to identify those threats and break those shots. This is 150 lumens with the single AA at 10 yards. This is 350 lumens with the CR123 at 10 yards. The target here is illuminated at 25 yards with a single AA battery at 150 lumens. The target's at 25 yards, illuminated with 350 lumens from a single CR123 battery. And here's the target straight out in front, 50 yards, illuminated with 150 lumens from a single AA. Honestly, this is further than I would shoot, especially with having a flashlight in my support hand. And this is the target illuminated at 50 yards with a single CR123 battery at 350 lumens. Again, further than I would comfortably shoot. Another thing I really like about this flashlight with respect to the design is the clip. It allows me to, obviously, pretty much every day, keep this clipped in my pocket, but if I'm out and I'm somewhere where I need both hands, rather than biting down on this thing, having it in my mouth, if I have to be wearing a hat, I can use the same clip and put it onto the bill of my hat, at which point, turn this guy on, and I basically have an impromptu headlamp. And headlamp's gonna win out any day of the week when you actually have a task that requires both hands. When it comes to everyday carry light, I think the Streamlight ProTac 1L, 1AA has a lot of good stuff going for it. Especially with that dual fuel, think about traveling abroad, overseas, who knows what kind of batteries are available. Pretty handy being able to throw either a AA or a CR123 in there. If you're looking for everyday carry light and you pick one up, let me know how it does for you. Best place I found price-wise, Amazon. You can find them for about 38 bucks. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.